All right, so we're going to talk some more about addition, subtraction, multiplication, division with functions, but we're going to focus first on how to find the domain for these cases. We want to find, so our steps, what are our steps here? We're going to find the domain of f, we're going to find the domain of g, and for addition, subtraction, and multiplication, we are looking where the domains of the two functions overlap or intersect. For division, we're going to take that intersection, but we also have to exclude any x values that would cause g of x, our denominator function, to equal 0, because then we got to divide by 0 error, right? So let's look at an example. We've got f of x equals the square root of x here, and g of x equals the square root of 2 minus x. So first we're going to find our two domains. So our domain for square root of x, of course, we need x to be greater than or equal to 0, because if we have a negative number, we're introducing imaginary numbers, and we don't want that. For g of x, we want 2 minus x to be greater than or equal to 0. So we can solve this thing for x. I'm going to add x to both sides, and we can see that x has to be less than or equal to 2. So we're going to graph on my little number lines here. We're going to do domain of f. We're going to do domain of g, so 2 or less. And so for f minus g, there we go. Don't know why it does that. So f minus g, our domain would be from 0 to 2, because that right there is the overlap here. These two parts, that's the only thing that overlaps that is in common between those two domains. So, of course, we can write our function. So f minus g of x would be square root of x minus square root of 2 minus x. And we're just going to leave it there, quite frankly. So that was subtraction. Let's see, f times g of x. So domain, same story, 0 to 2. And our function, what is that going to look like? We're going to have square root of x times square root of x, or 2 minus x, sorry. And if we want, we can write that into 1 square root. 2x minus x squared works. Okay. Now, what about f over g? So here, the question is there anywhere where g is going to equal 0? Yes. It's going to equal 0 when x is equal to 2, right? So our function, let's see, so our function would be square root of x over square root of 2 minus x. And we can rewrite that if we want to as square root of x over 2 minus x. So we need to also exclude, sorry, that didn't look like that word at all, the point x equals 2, because that's going to be cause a divide by 0 error, right? So our domain, we're going to go from 0. 0 is fine to plug in, but 2 is not. And if I do g over f, that's going to be the opposite function, right? We're going to have square root 2 minus x over square root of x, and we can clean that up just a hair. And so we need to exclude x equals 0 from our original domain. So we'll have parentheses for our domain, 0, 2, and 2 is still okay in this case. All right, I've got one more example, but we're going to pause on this one.